gonna roll those shoulders up, back and down. Don't forget to mute yourselves if you did not, please. Good. And then add those elbows. We're gonna step out a little bit, take a little rock side to side. We're gonna sweep one arm up and then the other, get a little reach through that body, reach through that body. 2 more times each way. And then come back to center. Bring your feet back into parallel, zip up the abs, tailbone long, ribs pulled down, shoulders open, back of the neck is long. Keep your right hand on your rib cage, lift your left arm up to here. Notice if your ribs want to pop up, keep pulling them down. If that's okay, widen the arm and lift it a little. If that's still okay, go a little higher. And then you're just going to test, where can your arms go? Right about here, my ribs, they're going to go. So I'm going to stay just in there. And then we're going to bring that hand down. We can do the same thing on the other side. Arm comes to shoulder height, out a little, up a little, out a little, up a little. Find the place where the ribs want to pop and stop there, right before there. And then add the other arm. Straighten your arms as much as you can. Flex through your triceps and your biceps. Reach through the fingers. Be strong. Check those ribs that they're staying down. And then see if you could lift another inch without the ribs popping. So I want you to feel length through the body, and yet ribs aren't popping like that as we do it. So reaching and pulling down at the same time. Shoulders, make sure they're out of your ears. Abs in, and gently bring that down. All right, we're going to pull those abs in. We're going to put our weight on our left foot now. We're going to lift that right leg, hold it here, lift the opposite arm. And same thing, ribs stay down, leg lifts up, and then both come down, and then lift and back up again. And then both come down one more time like that, just a little balance. Good. And then the last thing we're going to add to make this a bit more challenging, bend the left knee as you lift that right leg and that right arm. Stand up. Bend and stand up. Bend as you sit and stand up. Bend into that left knee. Stand up as that right foot comes down. If you want, you don't have to touch it down. Work that balance a little more. So knee is bending, arm is lifting, ribs are staying down, working that left quad, working that left glute. So make it less about the right leg and more about the left one. If you need to, you could just go here, right? Keep that toe on the ground so that I see that you're bending and getting that left quad, and left glute, right? So that's what you really want. And then if you want to have that knee lift, you can add that, but you don't have to. Or it could be baby knee lift, right? It's just about the balance and that left leg bending and straightening. You should feel this in your quad and your glute. Hopefully, yes, thanks. 2 more like that. And then we're going to stretch out the front of that left leg by stepping it back. Tuck your hips under, bend the knee, and drop into it. Feel that delicious stretch in the front of that left leg. That arm, same arm can come up, go behind you and over a little bit. Then take that same leg, that left leg, cross it over the right. Arms go up and over, hips go to the left, reach to the right. Stay there, pivot a little bit. Bend your knees, hands on your thighs, roll through a cat. Inhale through a little leprechaun or whatever you want for now. Exhale, cat. Inhale into your leprechaun or your cow or your favorite animal. Keep your right hand on your leg. Lift that left arm with grace. Bring yourself tall again, but keep the ribs down and uncross, and we'll do the other side. So I'm going to modify this side. It won't look the same. We're just going to bend that left knee, lift it up, and reach through that opposite arm. Tap it down, just 2 more like that, tapping down and coming down one more time. Good. And then if you want, you add the bend of that right leg. Again, I'm modifying here. Good. Since I'm modifying, I'm going to get a cat. You guys keep going. I promise I won't leave you alone too long. Still working. Right knee bending, right arm reaching, left leg up, or just barely, just up on a tiptoe or whatever. But again, we're working that right quad and that right glute by bending and straightening. Good, good, good. Ribs stay down. 2 more. And bring it up. All right, we'll step back with that right leg, tuck the hip under, bend that knee. Same arm goes up, a little bit over, reach, 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 and then stand it up, leg over the other. First those hips go. And then bend those knees with a little bit of a pivot. Round it, extend it. One more time around and extend. Hand on your thigh, arm up. Keep that, lengthen that upper torso, stay tall, and we're coming down to a seated position toward the front of your mat. So depending on what your floor is like or your mat, my mat has enough slip slide that I'm going to stay with my heels on the mat. If your floor is more slippery, then have your feet off. Otherwise, pull your glutes out from under you. Keep those knees bent. Let's go ahead and put the toes down. Grab hold of the hamstring so you can really lift your spine. But then bring your fingers to your ribs and pull the the ribs down. Then lift one arm, feel length from your hip to your arm, and then the other arm. Keep reaching up and pull the ribs down. Reach up and pull the ribs down. Last time, reach and pull the ribs down. So keep that in mind as we go into this next exercise. Hands behind you so that you can brace yourself up, but then the ribs come down. Try not to have the shoulders and the ears. So this is position 1. You are going to slide your legs straight. You're going to flex the toes back towards you. As you do so, you tighten the quads, right? And then you're going to point the toes and bring the knees in, still sitting tall, making sure your body doesn't move as you do this. So slide them out, flex through the heels, use the quads. Pull them in, use your hammies. Flex through the heels, use those quads. Pull back, use the hammies, right? So quad work, hamstring work, sitting tall through the spine. If you want your next level of challenge, let go with your hands, but keep that elongated posture. Very nice. And if you want that last challenge, those arms come out and in front of you, maybe lift them as high as feels comfortable, kind of like what we did standing up earlier, but keep the ribs down and that torso lifting. Couple more here. Flex through the heel, pull back hammies, flex through the heel, quads, straighten the leg. One more time, press those quads, pull those hammies, stay here, lifted, bring those arms back down, lower yourself a couple of inches, ribs in, hold here, lift it up, roll down, exhale, hinge it back, inhale, hold, exhale, back up. And then you start to challenge yourself. Where was it that your arms were able to go? Still keep your ribs down, head in line, and then lower the hands before you try to move. So you're going to do 6 more of those, please. Rolling down, trying to keep those toes on the ground, trying to keep that lift through your hips. Hips lift up, torso lifts up out of your hips, but we're not tucking and rounding, and those ribs aren't popping. And then on that last one, you're going to stay back and see what you might do here. Ribs down, arms lifted, back of the neck is long, reaching, reaching, holding, holding, and then grab those legs, walk back, mosey your way down, give yourself some assistance as needed, and then pull those knees in. Nice little low back stretch here for a moment, little rock side to side if that would feel good. And then right foot on the ground, left knee comes in, stretch out the left side of the low back. Let that go, right knee comes in. And then bring that down. Legs in, just this nice straight line here, deep breath in. Exhale, float the head, neck, and shoulders off the ground for ab prep. And then think about that same reach that we've been doing. Ribs stay down, arms reach as much as they can. Try to stretch from here to here. Exhale down, deep breath in, exhale lift. Inhale, reach. Remember, as always, I can exhale, and then on the inhale, lift my arms overhead without lifting my head, and I'm doing ab work here because I'm not letting the lengthening of my arms pop my ribs up. So if your neck is bothering you, that's always an option. 2 more, just like this. Deep breath in, exhale, lift, inhale, reach. Last time. Exhale, lift, inhale, reach. We're gonna hold it here. Take your fingertips, give your head a little bit of support, and then stack those knees in tabletop. Back of the neck is long. We're gonna extend the left leg and the right arm. And think about it, we're in that same position that we did earlier, right? The arm and the leg, the other one knee was bent. And then come back to center. You can bring your hands here. You can support with the opposite hand. So it's basically our single leg stretch, but opposite leg, opposite arm. Keep this one in tabletop. And again, if your neck is bothering you, absolutely, you can have your head down. Ribs stay flat. If your head is down, you might use the other hand to see what's going on with those ribs, making sure that they're staying nice and flat and controlled. Two more. Good, last time, we're gonna take a little break, little rock side to side. We're gonna widen those legs. We're gonna give a quick little hip flexor stretch because a lot of what we've been doing is hip flexor. Drop the right knee in, let the left leg drop off to the left. Back through center, left knee drops in, right leg opens. And then one more time, right knee in, left leg open. And left knee in, right leg opens. And then we're stacking back up. Tabletop, head, neck, and shoulders off the ground for our double leg stretch. Think about everything we've been doing. I'm gonna try and reach my arms to stretch from my hip flexors. I'm gonna bend, I'm gonna tap just a tabletop. Inhale, stretch, reach, abs nice and flat, and tap. Option to have head, neck, and shoulders down. Keep that going for me, please. And again, we'll take a quick break, bend those knees, and then here we go, tabletop again. Flatten those abs and ribs, tuck that tailbone under a little bit for our toe touch exercise. It can be single leg. It can be single leg heel flex. Hey, buddy. Come here, buddy. Hi, baby. You can squeeze both knees together if you want and lower both legs at the same time. You can flex through the heels and lower both legs at the same time. Oh, for a little more challenge, you could widen your knees like little froggy feet. No, be good, boy. Be good. And finally, if you want that last level of challenge, you create your long lever. Straight legs, ribs flat. Maybe start by trying one leg at a time. If that feels okay with you, try double leg lower. And again, as you're doing that, you're making sure there's not a seesaw movement, right? You keep your abs and your ribs flat as those legs lower. So you might be doing bent knee toe touches. You might be doing single leg. You may be doing double leg. You might be doing it with a heel flex. You might be doing straight legs. So you have lots of options here. And relax. Once again, we're going to hug those knees in, little rock side to side. I want you to open your knees, open those heels into a little V shape, grab at the ankles, and you're going to roll. I'm not going to roll today, right? But you're going to roll up. You're going to flap your little flippers together 3 times. You're going to roll back on the exhale. You're going to inhale at the top. You're gonna exhale and roll. Beautiful, keep it going. Next time you roll up, you get to stay there, but feet are off the ground. So find that balanced position, then bring your knees together and hold on. So if you're rounded, use your arms to lift yourself up out of your hips. So again, that tall, tall, tall spine, right? And then once you have that, extend your left leg a little bit. If you need to lean back to balance it so that the toe goes higher than your eye, that is fine. But you don't want to curl back, but you can lean back and then bend that left knee and try the same thing with the right leg. And if that's okay, try the same thing with the left leg. Notice if you rolled or, curled, try and find it. And then if you want to let go, you can. Lastly, if you want to lift up, you can. If we're trying to stay tall, same thing we've been doing all day, lift up out of those hips and then bend and grab. Woo, legs go wide. And we're gonna sit tall, pull those glutes out from under you. Let's keep a bend in the knees for now. Toes flex back towards your face. Abs in, ribs down, and then press yourself tall, right? I'm even lifting my booty off the ground for a second. Then I'm gonna put my booty back down, but I'm gonna try and keep my torso where it was. Then those arms come up and to that level that we've been playing with, right? And then I'm gonna hinge from there. So it's that beautiful spine stretch with a lifted torso. Then you can play with maybe straightening your legs. Don't have to. A lot going on here. And bring that down. Go ahead, roll right over onto one side. How are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? All right, so we're going to be doing a side plank. So if you need a little extra cushioning, go ahead and put your elbow underneath you. Push that shoulder back, lift up out of it, abs pull up and in. We want space between the ear and shoulder. We want that shoulder pushed back. We want to use our lats a little bit. As always, you can have all 10 toes in the air beyond the fronts or sides of your thighs. You can have a crisscross at your ankles, or you can be stacked. So you find your favorite version of side plank. Once you get there, 2, 3 corrections. Hips go forward, chest goes back, arm, imagine you have a hook, grab hold of that hook, lift your hips up a little, and then that arm reaches over. Same as what we've been doing. It's not curl, it's reach. So stop that. So I'm trying to stretch from my hip to my arm. Reaching should feel a little bit different. Remember, chest is back, hips are forward, and gently come down. All right, we're going to stay on this same side, but we're going to lie all the way down, arm underneath your ear. And we're going to have long straight lines, abs in, waistline off the ground. Actually, you know what? Sorry, just so that I can demo. Let's go to bent knees. And waistline off the ground, everything is stacked up, top hip is going to lift and lower. Lifting up as a unit, ankle and knee in a nice line. Good, heels together, toes apart, pivot open in your plan. Two more. And then knees are going to be down, but heels will be up, and we pivot open there. Good. All right. Give your hip a little love. Straighten out your bottom leg. As you do that, come on up. Seated position. So now that same leg that was on top is crossed over. Pull your glutes out from under you, sit tall. And then here we go. We're going to lift up out of those hips again, but then we're going to pull those ribs down. Beautiful. So we're lifting, and then we're just going to hinge the tiniest bit. Then we're going to come up. We're going to cross that leg a little further. Let it sit across the thigh. Maybe even lift the ankle and press the knee down a little teeny bit. And then I've already tucked and rounded, so lift up out of those hips and you hinge forward, so you get punished for whatever I do wrong. And then lift nice and tall. Last thing we'll do, we're gonna bring that knee up and all the way across the body. If you want, you can get a little rotation, big stretch. That knee that's bent, you're gonna tuck it under the straight leg. And that should put you on the opposite side for your side plank. Right, so make sure your other elbow is underneath you. And again, you might be on the sides of your thighs, one leg in front of the other, but we want to protect that shoulder, push back, lift up out of it. And then we lift up. We're going to push the hips forward and pull the chest back. Arm is going to come up. It's going to come overhead, but not in an arch, in a lift. So I'm trying to stretch from my fingers to my hip. Imagine that I'm lifting up out of those hip flexors again. Again, hips are forward, chest is open for a little extra challenge. And gently come down. You're going to roll into your position for your clam. Knees are stacked, hips are stacked, waist on off the ground, and we lift as a unit. Good. Heels together, pivot open. And then finally, heels in the air, pivot open. And relax, give that hip some love, bend that knee and straighten the bottom one so that as you come up, you end up in that pre-stretch position. Sit tall, even pull those glutes out from under you, lift your arms, lengthen, and then hinge and give yourself some support here. Sit back up, cross that leg over. If you want, lift your ankle and press your knee down. Notice if you curled back, sit as tall as you can, and then hinge. And then we'll take that same leg, we're going to pull it across the body. If you want, you can rotate the other way, making sure you're sitting very tall. And back through center, over onto your abs, please. Okay. So toenails are on the ground, but kneecaps are lifted, right? So we've engaged that lower body. Hands are going to come down behind you. Deep breath in. On the exhale, lift just the chest the tiniest bit up off the ground. Rotate that palms towards you, back of the neck is long, holding here, and then exhale down. Deep breath in, exhale, lift, rotate the palms toward each other, get a squeeze between the shoulder blades on the inhale, exhale down, inhale, prepare. Exhale, lift that upper body, reach, stretch, rotate, and down. Deep breath in. Exhale, lift, stretch, rotate, squeezing, and down. 2 more times. Exhale, lift, squeeze, inhaling, exhale, down. Inhale, prepare, last time. Exhale, lift, squeeze, rotate, hold. Back of the neck is long, and relax. You go ahead and press back in your shell stretch. Let your hips sit back on your heels. Take a little break there. And then when you come back, I want you to have your elbows a little bit in front of you, not pre-plank, right? The elbows are in front of you, but your upper body is lifted. Here's what you're trying not to do. It's not about your low back. So notice if your low back is slung down, pull your abs in to lift it up a little bit. Keep your elbows going forward. Bend your right knee just a little bit and bring it down. Bend your left knee just a little bit and bring it down. So you're just going to alternate, but you're keeping your upper body propped up without diving into that low back, right? So I'm going to keep my abs in to If you want, you can bring that leg in and give me a kick, kick, and the other leg, kick, kick. You can bring your heel as close to your hip as you want, does not happen for me. So single leg kick. And as you do that, however, make sure your body isn't swirling around. When you've done your next one on your left, then you're gonna walk those elbows back underneath you, and you are gonna lift the hips this time in our pre-plank position. So my pinkies, my forearms, my knees and my toes are the only thing on the ground. Think about head being in line with those hips, just like we've been doing. Option to stay here or roll onto the fronts of your thighs or tuck those toes and come up into your full plank. So whichever one works for you today. And then come down, and then you choose rest back in your shell stretch, hips on your heels, or bend your knees as you lie on your tummy and windshield wiper, whichever feels better to you. And then as you sit back up, you're going to come back up to that seated position and pull those glutes out from under you. So we're going to sit tall, right, up through our spine, abs in, ribs down, creating length between the hip and the shoulder, or the hip and the head. Back arm is going to lift, front arm is going to rotate. Notice what your knees are doing. You don't want them to cave open. Inhale back to center, arm comes up to remind you, ooh, lift up out of my body. Exhale, go the other way. I haven't really even leaned back at all, right? If you want to, you can hinge back a little bit, but you don't have to. That back arm helps you think about keeping that length, and then that front arm rotates you. Just a couple more like this, and we'll add on. Good, last one. Let's bring those heels together. Sit tall again, and then give yourself the tiniest little hinge forward. And then the last thing you get to do, you get to slump for a second since we've been lifting up, dropping round. Bring your knees together, sit up nice and tall. So now you don't get to dropping around anymore. So think about hips staying down, chest lifting, and then this time, as we rotate to the front, take your back leg, lift it up tabletop. Make sure the knee comes up and back to center. Other direction and back to center. Other direction and back to center. Keep that going. Alternating knee, opposite arm, chest lifted, long spine. You guys look fantastic. You're so pretty. Few more here. And then come on back to center. Bring those knees in and make your way down. You're going to stack them up and let them drop to either side. Just a nice little spinal twist for a moment. Then bring the top leg up, let the bottom leg follow, and drop the other way. And then again, back up through center. Hug those knees in. All right, you are going to do a bridge. I'm only going to get you set up for it. So heels are underneath your knees or out front, hands down by your side. I want you to think about that length from your hip to your head, arms down, and then lift your hips. Again, I'm going to kind of pretend to lift them, or maybe lift them an inch. Holding this bridge, then I want you to, I'll kind of baby this. Obviously, your hips are up in the air. Extend your left leg and reach your right arm over your head, just like we've been doing all day. Only your hips are lifted, right? So you should really feel that right hamstring catch as you do that. Make sure your hips are lifted, your left toes are pointed, your right arm is reaching, and you're just holding in that position. Left leg reaching, right arm reaching, stretching. See if you can straighten out that left leg. Think about the little bit of bend in that left knee. Try and straighten it, straighten it, straighten it. and then bring arm and leg back down. We'll do the same thing, lower your hips for a moment, take a deep breath in, lift those hips back up. This time you're gonna be extending your right leg and your left arm. Once you're up in that bridge, holding, reaching, abs in, nice neutral spine, reaching through those right toes and that left arm, sorry. Holding and reaching, nice job. Good, bring that down, hug them in. You're gonna mosey your way, this time rolling like a ball, right? So you're gonna roll back up to a seated position and flip yourself back over onto your hands and knees. So we're up this time, but we're gonna kind of do what we've been doing all day, which is opposite arm, opposite leg, but creating link through our spine. So the first thing I want you to do, let's just roll through a cat. Inhale through your cow. And then keep the hips extended and the shoulders together, but pull the abs and the ribs up and in. So neutral spine. Then you're gonna walk your left fingers forward and stretch your right toes back. Flex through that foot and then point that toe. And then I want you to reach. I'm gonna stretch that leg. I'm pulling my hips back, but then I'm gonna try and leave my toes where they are, bring my hips back over. I'm gonna do the same thing with the left arm. I'm gonna lift it up. I'm gonna stretch till my torso moves forward, but then I'm gonna pull my torso back, but try and leave my hand there. So now I'm reaching through my right toes and my left fingertips, right? Trying to really get that length in the spine. And then gently bring that all down. We're gonna roll through another cat. Inhale into another cow. And then right fingers go forward, left toes go back. I'm gonna get a little stretch first, press through that heel, that should feel good. Then I'm gonna point that toe, I'm gonna stretch, back, and then I'm gonna hold. And then same thing with that right arm, I'm gonna reach forward, and then I'm gonna press my torso back. I'm gonna try and find that length from left leg to right toes, abs in, neutral spine, you're holding it. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come down, cat and cow, please. It's animal day on the screen. And then as you're ready, press back, resting position. Shell stretch if you'd like, or you can just windshield wiper. And then you're gonna flip over. Left knee is bent, right knee is coming in, nice and snug into that right shoulder. Just for the heck of it, stretch that left arm overhead for a moment. Feel just a little change in that stretch. And then bring that left arm back down. Take your right knee, pivot a little bit so your left fingertips can grab those right toes. Little toe separators, right? And then use that to rotate your foot both directions. Did you know that that's what your fingers are meant for? They're toe separators. All right, and then you're gonna bring that leg back to parallel. You're gonna stretch and reach with your right hand, and then we'll push and pull up against that hand, maybe a little side to side, get movement through that ankle. Press the heel up, straighten out that leg. If you're still holding on, that's fine. Otherwise, hold lower and get movement, and then bring that right leg up, stretch that left leg out through the ground, out onto the ground, flex, try and get the back of the left knee closer to the ground, walk up to that right ankle, point it and flex it, point it and flex it. Let's turn it in, let's turn it out, let's lift it up and pull it back, and then bring yourself up, and then gently lower that leg. Hopefully that right leg feels nice and open. We're gonna bend that right knee, crisscross the ankle over the left, pivot open as you bend that left knee. Reach around, grab that left hamstring, extend that left leg up in the air. And again, you can get movement through that left ankle. And then you're gonna bend that left knee behind the right one. Grab hold of that left knee. Pull those legs over to the left and pull them up to the left. Put your right arm off to the side and you should feel a wonderful stretch in that right hip. You are welcome to stay with that. If you want to, you can go all the way over in the twist, either keeping your knees where they are or putting the left foot on the ground and doing it, but you don't have to do either if you want to just keep that hip stretch. And then you're going to uncross, come back to center, sorry, other direction, come back to center, then uncross, and then bring your left knee in. Get it nice and close to your left shoulder, hugging it in. Reach down with your right hand, pull that ankle a little bit across, separate those toes, get movement through that foot. And then bring that knee back to center, everything centers up, pull those left toes back. Woo, feel that stretch on the back of that left calf. And then you can straighten that leg, and if you're no longer holding on, just get some movement through that ankle. Bring it back to center, walk yourself up, stretch out that right leg, flex through that right heel, point and flex that left one, maybe get some rotation there, and then turn in and turn out, and then point again and lower that leg. And then you're going to cross it over the right and let it pivot open. You're going to thread your needle, right leg up in the air. And then bend that knee, crisscross the left one all the way over. You're going to pull those knees up and over towards the right shoulder, left arm off to the side. Feel that big stretch in your left hip. You can turn it all the way over into a twist or not, totally up to you. And then when you are ready, come out of that twist, uncross your legs, mosey your way over onto your hands and knees for me, please. Hands are going to be out front, and we'll just undulate that cat-cow. And then we'll come to center, tuck those toes. You're going to come up to that standing position. Bend the knees a whole bunch. Hands on your thighs. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And bring it up. Happy Saturday, and thank you.